Welcome back. In this segment, we will be talking about a community service project, an international community service project entitled the Leg Bank, and it was initiated in June 2014 in the Netherlands, but mainly to serve people in the third world and in low-income countries. The project started in Colombia, and the main theme was to offer leg replacement, especially for those who suffered from the landmines. And joining us right now in the studio is the head of the foundation, Miss Merel Rumping, and she will be telling us more about the project and about all her international community services. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mrs. Merel, and of course welcome to Egypt and to Nile TV, and of course to our program Breakfast Show. And we need you to tell us more about this project.
Yes, so I'm from the Netherlands, and I have a background in political science. I studied sciences politiques in France, and I have a business in master in business ethics. And I initiated Leg Bank, which is a social enterprise to provide good orthopedic care to people in low-income communities, low-income countries. Yes, what I would like to explain a bit is that it all started in 2007 when I went to Colombia to investigate a microfinance institute. Because I was thinking, if one is not very rich and needs a loan, then how come that someone can get out of poverty? So that's something I wanted to investigate. So I went to Colombia, and I worked for this microfinance institute. We would visit clients, and we would check their credit worthiness. And in the evening, I would work with street children and with ward children. I was setting up a theater play with them. So because of these two activities, I was a lot in very poor neighborhoods. So that makes me understand about the fact that in these countries, and especially in these neighborhoods, many people did not have good prostheses. And sometimes they would have nothing, or they would have crutches. And I also learned about a landmine problem because according to UNICEF, it's one of the countries with the highest number of landmine victims in the world. And that's something I understood when I was there. But I also learned about the potential of social entrepreneurship, which is, for me, it's the same as a company. It's just a company that wants to make profit, but it uses the profit to create social impact in a community. So it's a way to address a societal problem in an entrepreneurial way. So with these insights, I went back to the Netherlands, and I started to work for Proportion, which is a social enterprise that works in the Netherlands. And we have two social enterprises, one in Kenya and one in Bangladesh. At the time we were working there. So one is to investigate the quality of water in Bangladesh, because in Bangladesh they have a major problem with the water. It's often contaminated. So we're selling the test stripes to communities so they can test their well and see whether there's, for instance, arsenic, which is a silent killer. If you drink the water with it, you don't smell or you don't taste it, but it actually makes you ill. So this is one of the businesses that we have, for instance. And we had a business in Kenya where we provide youth with skills that matter to become an entrepreneur. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could set up a social enterprise to help the people in the first place in Colombia, but after that in the other side of the world, to help them have access to good prostheses. So that's how it all started.
Now, you're here in Egypt for a couple of days.
Yes.
Is it a trip like for leisure, or are you going to be looking into how can you help within the low-income communities in Egypt as well?
Well, I worked really hard over the last year. And I actually came for leisure purpose, but of course, yeah, as a social entrepreneur, you're always looking to understand better the situation. So let's see what's possible. Yeah. So maybe I can explain you a bit about what happened afterwards. So I went to work for Proportion, and I set up the Leg Bank. And I went to travel with a whole team of engineers to Colombia to investigate the situation, because at that moment I only had a limited knowledge. So we went there and we understood a couple of things. We understood in the world there's 30 million people that do not have access to good prosthetic care. It's a huge number. We also learned that there is 40,000 people that we need to make prostheses, so we have a lack of workforce because it's really difficult to make a good prosthesis. We learned that often you have centralized systems in countries, especially in low-income countries. So this means that only in the big cities there is a couple of orthopedic centers, but people in the rural areas, they have no access to the care, and they have to travel for hours, sometimes for days, to get their prosthesis if it's available. So that's why we started to look for a solution that would address these problems, and especially to address the fact that if you have a prosthesis, you have the foot, you have the shank, and you have the socket. And the foot and the shank, it's like a tube. It's all, they make it in a factory, so it's not handwork. But the socket, it's the part that connects the prosthesis to the limb. And each limb is different, each stump is different after an amputation. So yeah, you need a socket that's tailor-made, that really is like has a perfect size, a perfect fit for the person. And that was the thing we wanted to address. So we start checking several solutions. Maybe you've heard of 3D printing, I imagine, and that was one of the first things we investigated. But we understood it's still pretty expensive. And if you want to work for low-income people, then it would be actually too expensive. And also, especially right now, they make it for arms, but they don't really make it for legs yet because it's not. Yeah, if you would use a cheaper printer, it wouldn't be in one time good. You would still need to do a lot of modification in the end. So yeah, so then we actually came across an idea that was invented by a professor in the Strathclyde University in England, and he invented the Magi cast. And Magi means water, Maya, water cast. So what you do is you make a prosthetic socket with the help of water pressure. So if I would explain it a bit more in detail, it's a closed water tank, and like traditionally you would use the hands to make a socket, but now you put plaster bandage around the stump of a patient, and he inserts it inside this closed water tank, and he puts his full body weight, and because of the pressure of the water, and there's a membrane that separates the stump from the water. Within a couple of minutes, the plaster gets hard, and a unique mold comes into existence.
Okay, when you go to a country,
Yeah.
You first investigate what this low-income community needs, whether this community needs a medical assistant and this needs, for example, to live a better life, or you go with one target. I have artificial legs and limbs and whatever they want for this. What's your target when you go to any new community?
Yeah, well, the main target is to increase the access for people to orthopedic care. So sometimes there is, for instance, a lack of people that know how to make prosthetic legs, prosthesis. So that's why this product we have invented, a device, is really nice because you don't need to use your hands, so you only need a couple of weeks of education. So what we always like to have a tailored solution, so a solution that fits the needs of a specific country.
Now, is it only the leg or limbs replacement, or do you work on the psychological state of the person to accept himself this way and to function within the society and be normal again?
Well, I think it's very important you mentioned this because people that have suffered from an amputation, they often have a lot of psychological problems. However, we cannot do everything. So we are a team of engineers from Rex, design agency Rex, with people from the university, Arjen Buijs and his team. So what we do is really creating the products and focusing more on this side. But of course, we like to work with other partners that can really help people, making them feel more included in society, not only by by walking, but by other social skills.
But you must help them and train them how to wear it, how to walk with it, or someone else does that?
Yeah, so what we do is we have our device and we sell this to clinicians, to people that make prostheses. And these people, they actually help the patients to, they help them how they can walk again. And of course there's rehabilitation doctors, and they will do the exercises. But we're more on the product side. So we help the prosthesis makers to do a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to any country, do you seek the help of their government, or you go on your own with your team?
No, of course not. No, you cannot create parallel structures. I think you should totally function within an existing system. So in Colombia, we met the government several times, and they really support what we're doing. At the same time, they say, well, we can see your aim is to help the people, but you also have a product. So you are a company, so we will treat you like any other company. Yeah.
Now, I heard that you have a nice voice. Tell me more about your singing skills.
Yeah, so maybe what I just want to finish about the leg bank is really nice to say that right now there's already people walking on the prosthesis in Colombia, and in the Netherlands we have a 73-year-old man, and for the future we really aim to scale to other countries. So hopefully maybe one day in Egypt, who knows.
Okay, when you came here to Egypt, did you make a study about what some people need, or it's not in your mind for now?
I really escaped work, so I came here for leisure to see the
fun.
But I heard that there's especially a big group of Palestinian people here that are being helped, and they also are in need of prosthesis. So I heard that. So I imagine there may be a need. But I just arrived yesterday, so I didn't have
no time
to do a huge study on it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So when did you start singing? Is it a hobby or you're a professional singer back at home?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in between. I started singing 2 years ago. Actually, when I heard this song, Cansado do Mar, it's Song of the Sea, about 7 years ago, and I learned it by heart. And then I traveled to Portugal. So I'm singing fado. Fado is, maybe it's good to explain a bit the context.
Yes.
It's music from, it's traditional music. Maybe you could compare it with Tum. Like, it's really emotional, it really touches you. It's about...
Are you sure your first time in Egypt?
First time, but I really love music, so I know. But yeah, so it has kind of the same feeling for me. And it really touched me, so I learned this song by heart. But it's in Portuguese, so it's music from Portugal. So I traveled to Portugal, and I went to a fado house where people have dinner, and then they have a small break. When they, in that moment, they listen to the music, and then they continue to have dinner. This is like their tradition. And I thought, oh, I want to sing, but I never sang in front of an audience before. So, but anyway, I felt like doing it. So I went to the guitar players and I said, could I perhaps sing a song? And they're like, who are you? I've never seen you before, and you're just a foreigner. And I said, yeah, but I think I know this song. So they say, okay, come, we can do a small audition. And so I sang a fado song in front of all the people that were there, and that's how it all started.
What about this video? That's you singing, or is it a photograph of you singing? This one?
Yes. This was a concert in Portugal, actually. Yeah, we did a big tour in April last year. So we were traveling through many theaters. Yeah, a lot happened in 2 years, actually. I have to say. Yeah.
So you're a multitask person. You make everything.
I like to do many things and combine my passions. So, yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you like classic music more, and that you like singing classic songs more. Now, did you decide to strengthen your talent and enhance it by taking certain courses, reading like the music note, or it all came natural?
Honestly, I cannot read the musical script, so I just have good ears. I can listen. I can invent things. But so I cannot read.
It's natural talent.
Yes, but I have to say, of course, it all started like a hobby. So, but I found this amazing Portuguese guitar player. So Portuguese music, it's with 3 people normally. You have the Portuguese guitar. It's 12 stringed. It's a unique sound. Maybe it's a bit similar to the oud, to the lute, and so they were really professional, but I was just starting at the beginning. And then we had our first concerts, and I had pain in my throat. So I had to, people liked it, but I felt I needed a bit of technique